All right, welcome back. I mean, I say I'm excited. I mean it every time I say it. Right now, we have, again, some awesome people here, not only an educator, but those being educated in this field of people, data, and analytics. And so, Anna, I will get out of the way and let you all be your awesome selves, and I'll rejoin you at the end. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Al, for the opportunity. And now we're going to build on what Beverly and I have started in the other session. But, you know, the real people who are going to be building that profession from the ground up where we are now, I think we are just in the basement. They're going to create a palace for us. And these are our amazing students at NYU. And I want first to just give you a sense of who they are and why they joined. So they're going to just say a few words about themselves as a way of introduction. And then we're going to have them talk to us about what they are seeing as a future for themselves, being now really entering this profession at this point in their career. We're going to start with Veronica.
Hi, everyone. My name is Veronica, and I am currently on the talent team at Netflix on the talent acquisition side. I'm also a student at the NYU HCAP program and a consultant with the Kung Group that does leadership and organizational development. I was really excited about joining the NYU HCAP program more specifically and diving into the world of people analytics because of the need for a common language. A lot of HR professionals are folks who are interacting with people, and people are all very different. So data becomes a starting point in our conversations so that we can attack problems, understand and brainstorm solutions with a common starting point for some of those discussions. So really excited to continue and to answer some questions today.
Thanks so much, Veronica. We'll go to Brock next.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brock Smith. I'm currently a recruiter for a small boutique firm here in Houston. We service the energy trading space within the oil and gas industry. I think I'm excited to be here and joining the HCAP program because as I believe that HR is currently in data. I think a lot of what we're doing is being influenced by data, you know, using sentiment analysis for engagement surveys and things of that nature are interesting. But I think, you know, the involvement of that into a bigger entity and maybe not being just a sole or, you know, department within HR is interesting and what interested me to take it to that next level, which is what you know, we're here to talk about today. So I'm excited to touch on those points and speak further about that. Thanks
so much, Brock. And Arty.
Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. I'm Arty Mangi, based in New Jersey, and currently lead talent for a pharmaceutical company called Novartis. People and science are my passion, and I'm very fortunate that in my current role, I get to marry these two passions together in order to help enable reimagined medicine to ultimately help our patients live longer, happier, and healthier lives. I think similar to what Barack and Veronica said, I'm really excited to be part of this HCAP program. And I feel like HR is currently at a flux where we can leverage this opportunity to really be strategic enablers for our organizations. And I feel like data is going to play a big role. And I'm so fortunate to be part of this second cohort. I'm looking forward to answering any questions and learning from your experiences.
Wonderful. So, so far you just started, all three of you just started this year, and you're already getting introduced to, Veronica, your point, the new language, the new way of looking. So far, what were the kind of aha moments for you? You know, I mean, you can share what classes you are taking and what were like the first takeaways from what you're learning, and then we can talk about how it actually applies to what you're doing in your day-to-day. So we'll start with Brock.
I think my first aha moment was during the first week immersion. This is actually pretty early in my career, so this is the first time I've actually been, you know, diving into people analytics, and I think a lot of people can say that in the program. However, just kind of understanding how broad people analytics is, and there's a people side and there's an analytics side, and so merging those two together is something that it's interesting and it's confusing at first, but then once you start to learn a little bit more about it and get a little bit of background in it, it's something that is powerful, and I think it can kind of what Arty touched to earlier can involve the organization or whatever organization you're a part of to continue to grow and help succeed, increase your bottom line and things of that nature. So I'm very interested in how analytics can turn HR into a profit center rather than a cost center. It's something I'm interested in and kind of shooting for in my career. And so I think that was my first time to see what and how powerful this is.
Great. Thank you so much. Arty, what about you?
I think for me, similar to Barak, right? The first week was amazing, and this was a class we are taking with Dr. Anna around people and organizations. And for me, it was fascinating how people's personality, along with the team dynamics and organization structure, come together, mesh together to create the business results we want to, right? So it was fascinating to how data can power all these three elements in an organization to make it more effective, more efficient, and look to unleash the power of our people.
Thank you. Veronica, what about you?
Something that I was surprised by, delightfully surprised about our managing the analytics function course that's taught by Dr. Tarulli, who was speaking previously, was around the need for focus. I think when I thought around about analytics, I was thinking about some of the technical tools and the technical functions, and being really focused on the why of the work and the outcome that you're hoping to potentially inspire is really important for me. Something that I've been able to apply to some of the work that I've been doing, some projects at Netflix with those teams, of just really staying aligned, understanding who your stakeholders are, and really gearing all of the work that you're doing towards that outcome. When I was chatting with our leader on the people analytics side, she had mentioned that the hard thing it's not the analysis, it's not the technology, it's not the tools, it's really the questions that you want to ask and figuring out what impact that's going to have. So that was a way, again, I think moving into this field, sometimes I know I've been intimidated by some of the technical components, and recognizing that as HR professionals, we already have a lot of the skill sets that will be really important in contributing to this field, because we are curious, because we want to improve our organizations, and because we know how to communicate cross-functionally. So we're just adding a little bit to our tool set rather than completely redefining what it will look like.
And I think all of you just pointed out some really, really important elements of, what we're trying to create here. It's not just to give people the skills, but also the confidence. I think Veronica and Brock and Arty, I think all of you were a little intimidated coming in, thinking that you will have to do some acrobatics that you've never thought about before, and some really extreme, technology tricks. But building those skills is really, really important, and you have the opportunity to do so. But what you're really, experiencing is the ability to bake it into a much broader professional approach to business, right? That is different from just being in a traditional HR or just coming in with a specific tactical set of skills. But merging those together is really creating a profession that we're thinking about. And, and at this point, I also want to ask you, what are your plans? First of all, I want you to think about the immediate plans, like you join the program, people usually, do it. It's a huge commitment, both financial and the time commitment and personal commitment. And there are certain immediate outcomes that you're looking for. But also, if you could share kind of the near horizon and the further horizon for you, because you're going to be in this profession when all of us are going to be doing some other things, playing golf, perhaps. Arty, we'll start with you because you really have a big role at Novartis right now as we speak.
No, absolutely, Doctor. And I think it's a fantastic role. And I feel like the way the program is structured, it being remote as well as flexible, and the kind of teachers that we have and professors we have with Dr. Anna and Dr. T, I think it's a beautiful integration of work and study. So I don't see it as two different things. There's a constant flux of thinking that goes into my workspace of what I learned in class and vice versa. And I think the way the teaching methodology is very focused on real life examples, case studies, sharing experiences, and learning from each other. Right, we come from such different industries and disciplines within the HR function. So I feel like it's a fun experience. It definitely is taxing. I'm using a lot of my gray sales, which probably were dominant. Uh, but I feel like it's such an amazing experience to invest in your own capability building. And that's what my focus is, to really gain mastery over the technical as well as a lot of the software and behavioral aspects of clinical analytics. And to what Veronica said, it's not just about learning statistics or learning Tableau, but really talking about what is the business problem I'm trying to solve? Where is the data coming from? Is the data biased? So it's very fundamental questions that I'm looking to focus my time right now on. From the mid to the longer horizon, I'm very fortunate to be working in an organization which is committed to my development and learning with Novartis. And I look to contribute back with sharing my learnings with my team and helping really elevate the people analytics function in Novartis. And that's really my long-term goal. This could be either in my current role or look at moving into a targeted, focused people analytics role. So that would be my 2 cents.
That's wonderful. I think let me pull out some really important points. First of all, there's no separation of school and work. It's seamless. Whatever you do in class, you immediately can apply at work and elevate what you do at work right there. And the second thing I'm hearing is that you're actually very fortunate to work in the organization that is already strategically looking at upgrading the whole HR organization, and they're actually investing in your education that way to help you move along. So it's not like you have to jump companies. Novartis is a company that's very committed, and it's a global pharmaceutical company, right? And so very committed to having, their HR professionals grow within the organization. So that's really, really important. Let's go to Veronica now.
In the near term, my goal is to use more data in the talent acquisition function. I think that for recruiting more specifically, there's a lot of information, but again, really anchoring on what are we focusing on? What are we trying to understand? What can we learn a little bit more about? I have lots of ideas around experimentation based on my own experiences in recruiting around what makes a search, what shortens a search, what does a strong partnership look like, and really being able to break that down, articulate it, and prove it are some of the immediate goals. But in the long term, I want to contribute to the really big problem that we're seeing in the industry with folks from underrepresented groups not being present in industries that are continuing to grow, not being part of the equation. I think that starts with from the beginning with investments and early stage organizations. So ideally, the goal would be take the insights that I learned from recruiting from a large organization, bring them to starters, founders, and folks who are just starting out, and help them to grow really diverse teams from the beginning so that we don't get to the place where we are now, where a lot of companies are really trying to catch up. So there's a clear outcome that I am looking to accomplish with some of this knowledge. And I think that being able, again, having coursework, having professors that are so tapped into the industry, that are so related, is allowing that to be really actionable and actionable steps to accomplishing that goal.
And just to stay with you, Veronica, for a minute, I just read your paper, by the way, on D&I that we did. And it sounds like you've just accomplished a big milestone at Netflix, right, around D&I. So
yeah.
do you want to share what you've done?
We had a really great year for one of the engineering teams that I support. And again, I think a lot of folks think, you know, it's going to be high level strategies. You see so many folks that are kind of grasping for straws, whether it's rewarding their recruiters for hiring from underrepresented groups or trying to create interview structures and incentives. From our experience, it was a combination of so many different factors, but a lot of it came from kind of the human perspective of being very aligned, being very bought in, being very committed, continuing to iterate based on what we were learning. So rather than having a one solution fits all solution, it was a long-term iterative process of folks who are really committed to a common goal. So I don't know if I'm allowed to share what we were able to accomplish more publicly, but really being able to make some gains due to some of that alignment, due to some of the data, understanding some of the data and correcting on a small level, and my personal commitment to helping to diversify some of our teams.
Wonderful, wonderful. Brack, you are not the least, right? You're the last on this round. And, so share what you're going through, what professionally.
Right. So for the near term, similar to Veronica, I want to focus on using more data in the recruitment field. And my firm, we're a third-party agency, so there's not a lot of internal conversation around headcount and hiring efforts and things like that. But being able to help our clients understand what areas they need to hire in, how they need to hire, timelines and things like that is something that I'm interested in. Towards the further on down the road, my firm also offers strategic consulting services, and I would like to include people analytics as one of those services to an industry that desperately needs to start focusing on its workforce, on its people. If you've been following the market recently, it's been very volatile and up and down, and a lot of the workforce has been taking the brunt of that. And I think during a time where we have the data, we have the resources within the industry to focus on our people and kind of, have the potential to eliminate some of this volatility in the market. Why not, start anything on that now? So that's definitely something that I want to focus on in the future. Okay,
great. So, in this forum that Al, provided us with, there are a lot of people here who are already in the profession, or they're in startups and various analytic companies and groups, and we were trying to, from NYU perspective, connect you with the ecosystem, so you now have a broader perspective, broader horizon to see what's actually happening in the field. And so I want you, as the kind of the next generation of incoming professionals in the field, share with me and with everyone here what you think the opportunities are for us to expand, to broaden, to be more visible, to even align around the language, something that Veronica brought up. So looking at the field of how you experienced it so far, where are the opportunities? And you could be very, very open with us about what you're seeing and where we need to, step in and do better. Okay, anyone wants to jump in? Veronica, do you want to?
Yeah, one of the things that comes to mind is a little bit about this topic, reskilling and upskilling. We have a number of HR professionals in the field who are amazing at what they do, but haven't really embraced the power of what data and analytics could do for their organizations. And in my experience, are not interested because they're doing a good job. So there is a sentiment for us in this kind of new generation and new wave of really proving the value, really thinking about being able to make some of these tools and some of these concepts accessible for any of the folks that we're working whether we're managing up or sharing across the organization or sharing with folks that are earlier in their careers. We have a really important duty in order to make some of that accessible, understandable, and usable. And I think we need to be able to do some work that helps not only our own organizations, but helps some of the others. I think something about this community feels like we share, right? We're sharing our learnings, we're sharing some of the insights, we're sharing some of the experimentation. Because all of our organizations are different, one size will not fit all. So even if you have something that an experiment or a thought that was a win for your organization, another organization can learn from that, but they'll still need to adjust. So sharing isn't necessarily losing IP. It's not losing a special sauce or secret. It's really the opportunity for us to build from one another as we go through this really important transformation for HR organizations.
And that's a great insight. I think this is how this community has emerged globally. And it's probably across HR, probably the most welcoming community that I've experienced is in actually analytics. That's a really good observation, Veronica. Arty, what about you? What will be your insights and recommendations?
I think similar to Veronica, I absolutely second what she said, right? This field is so fast emerging. It's difficult for one person to keep track of everything that's happening. I mean, just to refer back, we had a class yesterday with Dr. Tarulli, and we were needed to share 2 learning resources that we leverage to keep ourselves up to date. I mean, I was amazed with the amount of resources there's out there. And there were some resources I didn't even know about. So I think it's important for us as a community to really, like Veronica said, to collaborate across boundaries. Also keeping in mind the data privacy piece of it, because all of our organizations, I'm sure, have some of those areas to take care of. But really look to share knowledge and ensure to commit to our own self-development, to keep learning, because it's just the start. Like you said in the beginning, Dr. Anne, it's just the start. We are setting just the foundation. There's so much more to do together. I also feel we need to be inclusive. This is not just an HR topic. We need to bring in more business people into this conversation and also look to build their own capability. We have seen guest lecturers in our immersion who are computer scientists. We have had organization psychologists who have made careers in people analytics. So I feel like you don't need to restrict it to just HR professionals. We need to be inclusive and bring in more business people.
It's a very good point. And Brock, what are your observations?
Yeah, I agree with everyone here. I think the beauty of technology is that it allows a variety of the lower value added HR activities to be automated, and gives us time to focus on the more high order work that involves more community involvement and human relationship and competition. But that also leads to we need to be able to upskill and reskill and deploy our employees that are losing their jobs to the automated work. So deploying those resources, I think this is kind of a common theme right now. Deploying those resources better, internally and externally, is something that we can do better. And then, as Arty said, including more of the business in the conversation, just to create awareness and also increase that buy-in from the business as well. So this isn't just a siloed conversation. It's something that the whole organization sees and hears and understands.
Yeah, I think you're making a really good point about kind of the social mission directed place that we have in many ways in the future of work, right? There are several areas where I think the really constructive, effective, and scalable solution is going to come from, leveraging data and technology. One of them, as we discuss really actively pretty much in all of our classes, is inclusion of different types of people. And I think that's the opportunity that we have as a profession. As you can see, just among your peers, the students, we see a much more diverse student population coming to us than what we currently see in people who are practicing, people analytics. And, one of my big aha moments was in the very first immersion class that I taught with a very diverse group of students, that all of my guest speakers were of a certain race and a certain and a certain gender, and I think that we are seeing a much more diverse group of people coming in, and all of you guys know it very well. So I think those issues will be addressed, and then the whole challenge that we are experiencing and will be experiencing more after the COVID passes, and when most companies are going to transition into some sort of digital environment in a much more accelerated way. So, so one of the things that we want to do is definitely not only looking at how people analytics are going to solve immediate business issues and business problems, but also how it's going to play out at the larger social scale. And that's where it's going to take all of us thinking broadly and thinking deeper about the social and economic mission that we have in helping thousands, if not millions, of people transition into a different space. So you are going to be among those who are going to be working inside your companies in a broader context to help us get there. So final word from you guys. If you have one wish really quickly to address to this big community that's going to listen to you, what will this profession look like? Just a couple of words. Describe this to us. When you step in, when you lead it. I know I think in my spot, I put you on the spot, but you were very smart. You can get it answered. Arty.
Yeah, I think I'm excited about the future, right? And I invite all of you to join us in this journey. I think it's going to be very futuristic, novel, innovative. It's going to be business focused. It's going to be very impactful. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to embark on this journey already with all of you, and look forward to partnering with you.
Great. Veronica.
I love that Arty ended with fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to really dive into the challenges that organizations are facing and be able to really help them influence and help to solve those problems to make an impact for the people who we are there to help and to support. So I agree with Arty. I let's start with the fun.
Yeah. Brock, what about you?
I'm excited and optimistic about the future. I don't think there's an issue or a challenge that the community can't overcome or provide a solution for. And I think it's a great community, like you said earlier. Everyone's welcoming and inclusive, and I think that's something that is going to drive this forward as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for taking time of your busy day, and we'll see you in class.
Thank you.
Hey, I just want to say thank you all. That was such an inspiring conversation, and I look forward to hearing from all of you as you graduate and go off and do fantastic things. And of course, we'll remain a resource to you as you go. So you all be well, and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with Anna and Mark.